Oh, that's what it is. She just was wandering on the street.
Oh, you even got a little air tag.
And we already have 4 cats. We can't take her away. But we're gonna find your mommy. Yeah. Oh. And it's so crazy. I was just thinking about getting a cat. So if you don't find her, I'll take her.
Phone's on silent.
Oh.
Yep, mine is.
Phone is on silent. Thank you for saying that because I definitely wouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Ready?
Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1.
I did.
Hello.
What is your name?
My name is Do you want me to look at the camera
No, you
first?
can talk to
Okay.
me.
My name is Danielle.
Awesome. So tell me, do you consider your hair right now good hair?
Oh my God, yeah. Do you see this definition today? It's a good hair day. I got the bangs, but I got them tucked back today because I can't figure out how to make that work with the curly hair. But yeah, this is good hair.
So you got curly bangs, curly straight.
Yeah.
I love it. Love that. Okay. So what are terms around your hair did you hear when you were growing up? Like negative and positive?
My mom always would tell this story to people when talking about my hair, like when I would go get it cut as a little kid or something, and how she just was so jealous about how it fell in perfect ringlets
Yeah.
every time it would get cut. And so that was always super cool just to hear, you know, your parent is like, oh, I love this about you. In the same breath, she also would compare me to a piece of steel wool because I would get super frizzy and everything, especially in the summertime. And I hated having my hair brushed because it's so curly that it just feels, I don't know, it just hurt. So we have this like loving, it's in a very loving reference, and I don't take it to be negative, even though it sometimes in certain contexts can be kind of negative. But yeah, she's like, oh, you're like a little Brillo pad or something like that, which I thought was so funny. And it's true. Yeah, if I leave it unchecked, it gets a little intense.
I love that. Well, I love that love and hate relationship in that wordage.
Yeah.
Cute. So tell me, so what is your hair journey? And in your journey, did you have any traumatic experience during it?
Hair journey. When I was younger, it was always curly. It was always kept short because I couldn't grow it out because I didn't like to have it brushed because it would get tangled all the time. Once I started to get older and could care for it myself, I could grow it. My mom let me grow it out a little bit more. And then when I got into middle school and high school, you know, puberty hits and you start comparing yourself to people more. And I started to try to straighten it a little bit more. I got my first straightener and started learning how to, I don't know, make it look assimilated to other people.
Right.
Once I was in high school, I would kind of waffle back and forth a little bit more between straightening it or wearing it curly. It's trying to figure out what products worked. Like every curly person ever has had to figure out is what products work well for them and what order and method and yada, yada, yada. So that was, I would kind of waffle around. In college, I kind of kept the same method, but then once I was out kind of a real adult, I started embracing the curls quite a bit more. And still to this day do. In the summer, I would tend to wear it more curly. In winter, not as much because it gets dry, so the curls don't look as good as I would like them to. In the summer, they're nice and full and luscious, and it's just awesome.
Yeah.
But in the winter, it's just sometimes easier. I flip-flop back and forth between blowing it out and wearing it curly. So that's kind of where I've landed today.
Yeah, love that. So with that, why do you resort to the styles? Because I hear you so you go back and forth. So why do you resort to those styles outside of the let's say the temperature, right? Is there any particular reason why you might go curly in the summer or the winter?
Yeah, so in the winter when I go curly, it's usually because it's just a little bit easier to do it at the time of like when you're washing it and everything. But mostly I go straighter or blow dry it out in the winter because I can make it last for like 5 days without having to wash it. Especially when the air gets dry, my hair just, I don't know, it just works better to make it last longer. But whereas I have not cracked the code on how to get my curls to stay for more than like a day or two without just looking crazy. So that's usually the main motivator.
Love that. So is there anything in your past environment that, let's say, as as your family or friends could have done differently to help you explore your curly hair at an earlier age?
I think my mom did the best that she could have. She was born with straight hair and always envied my and my sister's curly hair. But I think it would have been really cool for her to take some time to focus on representation and, you know, what it means to have to care for curly hair, because it's quite a bit different. Especially being white and growing up with a white family, there's not really this emphasis on caring for your hair the way that there is in traditionally curlier race communities or families. Like growing up black, it's like something that you talk about at a very young age. So I would have loved to have had more, almost like a bonding experience with my mom of learning how to care for curly hair and taking that gentle kind of educational time of, you know, curls are beautiful. Let's figure out how to care for them, both her and I, because she didn't know what she was doing either, and I'm a child, so. So if I could turn back time, that's probably the only thing that I would change. I think that would have helped me embrace my curls a lot earlier rather than seeing them as a burden or a problem to be solved, to make things easier or more manageable.
Right. And I love that you use the term more easier, more manageable. We hear that in the curly world so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's more manageable, it's more, oh, this. It's like, well, my hair's always manageable, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind, I want to revisit the question and talk a little bit about how the impact of someone saying, hey, you must be mixed to have curly hair. How did you feel about that?
A little bit of I thought it was a little bit of a compliment, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm
I
like,
love it.
really? I look so white to myself. So what, outside of the curly hair and I don't know, maybe a little olive skin, what else about me would you think would be mixed besides just the curly hair? That, and I have an interest in understanding different cultures and the way that they approach hair and just the way that they approach a lot of things in general, but hair also. So I have this knowledge about what it is like to maintain black hair and different protective styles and all of that kind of stuff. So then I tend to get asked, oh, well, are you mixed? I'm like, no, I'm just interested because I can relate on, this is the thing that we can relate on is understanding our hair textures.
That's actually how we related.
Yeah.
We were talking about products, and you were like, yeah, I got this, and I got 3C. I said, oh, you know about the numbers? I said, okay, she surprised me. Because you were ready. You were like, oh, yeah, I got to get moisture retention. I do the LC method. I was like, wow, I love this. So, absolutely, that is so true. We actually bonded over that.
Yeah,
so.
finding that common ground, I think, is the most fun part of learning about different lived experiences, is being able to relate it. Oh, this relates to my own, but here's how it differs. So that's like that and food are like this little to be able to understand cultural influence, I think, at least. And so I find it really interesting to bond with people over that, who have that shared experience in the way that we have to handle our hair.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, that is actually all the questions I have.
Oh, that was so easy.
Yeah. That's it, really, pretty much.
Okay, cool.
So, but yeah, thank you for that, because that was, I guess I never thought of it from the standpoint of someone of white race and getting asked, hey, are you mixed because you have curly hair? I guess in that way, because like, in my head, I wouldn't ask anyone. I guess maybe because I don't know why. I wouldn't ask a white girl. I would just say, oh, she's white with curly hair. I wouldn't just assume she's mixed, but I guess it's out there.
Yeah, maybe it's because it's a little taboo. Like, I think asking a black woman about her hair in the wrong context is really weird and really taboo. And so I think maybe that's part of it too, is like, well, why would I ask about her hair? Because I would never want somebody to ask me about my hair too. But it can actually, in some contexts, can actually be a really cool bonding experience too, of like, oh, how do you get the definition without having to like sacrifice volume? And you can be able to compare and contrast, even though you might have different textures or, you know, your hair and my hair is very different, but there's so many similarities too that we were able to find so much common ground, you know?
That is true. That's why when I named the company The Human of Color, it's for the textured and curly
Yeah.
hair. So we're a community. Like, literally, anything, if your hair does any type of bend, you are part of this community. any type of bend, you come into the world. So.
Absolutely.
Well, that is actually all of the whole interview. Oh, this was so
cool.
fun.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of it. I appreciate it.
Do you need anything else from us? No? Okay. Cool. Oh, you